Let's move on to the next hashtag. Hashtag El Rufai, former FCT minister, former Kaduna State governor, former ally of President Bola Tinubu. In fact, he used to be his arch enemy before he became his ally, and now he's become his arch enemy. It's like a cycle, yeah? So after he decamped from the APC and began a new political journey with his entrance into the SDP, people like Abuala had said he doesn't have any political relevance anymore. But netizens are saying, this might not be true. So not too long ago, El Rufai came back to Kaduna State and he received a very warm welcome. Someone online said, in fact, apart from former President Muhammadu Buhari, nobody has received that kind of a welcome after leaving office in the state. In fact, let me I'll pull up a tweet now that has a picture of some people hanging on trees just to see El Rufai as he came into town. That's the one. Thank you, Director. Farid says, this is Malam Nasir at El Rufai in Kaduna State. This is the same person they want us to believe is irrelevant. Then there's another person with another tweet that sort of re-echoes this particular sentiment, but doesn't completely. Chris says, some ask if the 2025 coalition can match the potency of 2014's. For me, if these were chairs at El Rufai would be my queen piece. All out attack, and Amoda won't be able to breathe. But like it or not, at Peter Obi remains the king piece because we have to checkmate. Now, what's your take, though? Is El Rufai still politically relevant or irrelevant? Shiji.
Okay. I've been a politician before, and I left active politics, I think when I was 22 or 23. But I joined politics when I was 19. Okay. And I thank God for the dean in my department at the university at that time, who came back from office and said, he served with the governor of Ekiti State at that time, Otumba Adebayo, from 1999 to 2023. So I think I was in my final year in 2024. Sorry, 2004. Sorry, I always say 2023 instead of 2003. Yeah. So 2004, I think I was in my final year when he said that he wanted to advise us that before you go into politics, you should establish yourself career-wise or business-wise. Now, because if you don't do that, if you go back there, if you go into politics, by the time you get back, you will either be having, you either become a recharge card distributor, like people that used to have umbrellas and all that. So he gave so many analogies, and the reason I just told myself, I think I better face my studies than find some, and I never went back into politics, though we're all politicians because we're political animals. So and I follow politics even from that time till now. See, people mistake executive influence to grassroots influence. Political influence is different from executive influence. I didn't like our president for a very long time. But because I brainstorm, we share ideas with friends most times. I think like 8 years ago, someone called me, or 10 years ago, what do you have against this man? My challenge at that time, I'm going somewhere, I'm just creating an analogy for you. My challenge at that time was, I just ate the fact that someone could just be saying this person will run for office and the person will win. It's like this person is in control of everybody. I just hated that fact. And people like to really support the underdog. That's a general law of nature. So even when you're watching sports or football, you don't have a stake, if you see somebody that is looking like they don't have the upper hand, your mind tends to support the person in boxing, in any sport. But it is what it is. Yeah. When people have paid their dues, if you like, support the underdog till tomorrow, he will get punched out, he will get knocked because the other person has paid his dues. So that's politics, that's nature, that's life for you. So when you think, because when you're a governor, you have executive influence, you have executive popularity. But when you are out of office, then we will now see if you really have political influence.
So let me come in here. I'm trying to see if I've heard you correctly. What I hear you say in summary is that El Rufai had executive influence, but that he doesn't have political grassroots influence. And then there's a parallel. You're creating a parallel between him and the president, whom you didn't like for a very long time, because you felt he was a control freak. But you said you have started liking him now.
No, that's not the question. So okay. I support.
Okay.
I support.
So yeah. So where are you driving at? What's your take? Yeah.
So now where I'm driving at is, let's use the analogy of the president again. For 16 years, he was not in government, but he came back, surmounted all challenges, circumvented everything thrown at him, and became, even from his own party. That's influence. Now, you see, an El-Rufai is still a bit relevant, but from my own perspective, as of today, I will tell you to write it down. In 2027, if El-Rufai wins his local government, I will give it to him.
Okay.
He could win his polling booth, maybe his ward, but if he wins his local government, I will give it to him. This is someone that made it, that it was difficult for him to be able to win. Let me even say allegedly, legitimately. They won by less than 9,000, 710,000 to 711. This Ubasani, the whole National Assembly elections, PDP won him, 3 senators and everything. So in a way, when you, even me, if I get back to my village today, you will see crowd, especially when you're a philanthropist, when you help people, when you still have commissioners, you still have these people. We know how this thing works. The weight of a politician is not in the name. The other way that you can also check the weight of the politician is the kind of interview, and when a politician starts to run around TV stations, there are some politicians that have left the level of governor. They have left the level of senator. They are now, like, even when they're not the president, they're at that presidential level. So when you want to talk to them, I'm sorry, it's everywhere. When you want to talk to them, it's either a press conference initiated by them or a special interview. When you know that a politician is losing it, is when a politician starts running from TV station to TV station.
Okay.
See, don't let me talk too much about that.
Yeah.
But
I get the picture. Basically, I get the picture. I know. I get the picture exactly. Now, I want to ask this question before we wrap this particular hashtag up, because we're going to be wrapping up in a short while. Was El-Rufai instrumental in bringing this president on board? Really? Was he instrumental in rallying round the North?
Yes.
For Tinubu?
Yes. It was a late convert.
Yeah.
It was a late convert. But by the time he believed in the mandate, he was everywhere. He was one of the people that fought the conservatives in the North, that power should shift to the South.
Yeah.
So you will give it to him.
So you can write him off totally?
Yes, in a way.
Yeah.
The only challenge I have with him is, see, when you lose out in a political battle, you have to withdraw, re-strategize, not to lose the war, because you just lost a battle.
All right.
So Bola Ahmed Tinubu was sidestepped in 2015 when they came in. The likes of Bukola Saraki, the likes of Buhari, they discarded him.
Yeah.
Then, even when they wanted a re-election in 2019, the Yoruba would say, want to be Mora.
What does that mean?
Yeah, that means they called him again. They do him Naira again, just to be able to get the Southwest states.
Okay.
That's politics, it's interest. So, but at that time, did you see him utter a word to, abuse the president? There was a time that he was as good as gone in APC. He wasn't recognized. Everybody he put up was not given what they were supposed to be given. Even the people that were now ministers that had worked with him were not seen to be loyal to him again. But he strategized. He didn't complain. We had election in 2023. El-Rufai, unfortunately, which I don't agree with the way he was treated, but the way you were treated doesn't mean you should start throwing tantrums.
In fact, that was a very smart thing you just said. I like the fact that you mentioned that you did not like the way he was treated, because he really wasn't treated very well.
Yeah,
but you also said that he should have been a good sportsman and accept that, he was treated badly.
You don't even need to show that you're a good sportsman. Just re-strategize, and you come back powerfully.
All right, let's end it there.
Sometimes it's a test of your sportsmanship as well.
Absolutely. This is very well said. Thank you. You shed a lot of light on that particular hashtag.